I never thought I would become so obsessed with growing tomatoes from home. It all started when I stumbled upon these tiny red robin tomato seeds at the local gardening store. They were so cute and petite, I couldn't resist buying a packet to try my hand at growing them. I carefully planted the seeds in small pots filled with nutrient-rich soil, making sure to water them just the right amount each day. As the days passed, I watched in amazement as tiny green sprouts emerged from the soil, reaching towards the sunlight streaming in through the window. I was amazed at how quickly the plants grew, their delicate leaves unfurling and reaching towards the sky. I made sure to give them plenty of sunlight and water, tending to them like they were my own children. I even talked to them, whispering words of encouragement and love as I checked on their progress each day. As the weeks passed, the plants began to flower, tiny yellow blooms appearing on the stems. I knew that soon, these flowers would turn into the tiny tomatoes I had been eagerly anticipating. I couldn't wait to see the first fruits of my labor, to taste the sweet, juicy tomatoes that I had nurtured from tiny seeds. Finally, the first tiny tomatoes began to appear, small and bright red against the green leaves of the plant. I carefully plucked one from the vine, holding it gently in my hand. It was so small, barely the size of a cherry tomato, but it was perfect in every way. I popped the tiny tomato into my mouth, savoring the burst of flavor that exploded on my tongue. It was sweet and tangy, with a freshness that you could only get from a tomato grown at home. I couldn't believe that something so small could pack such a punch of flavor. I continued to harvest the tiny tomatoes as they ripened, enjoying them in salads, sandwiches, and even just as a snack on their own. Each one was a tiny burst of sunshine, a reminder of the joy and satisfaction that comes from growing your own food. As the summer turned to fall, the plants began to wither and die, their leaves turning brown and curling at the edges. I knew that it was time to say goodbye to my tiny tomato plants, but I was grateful for the experience and the delicious tomatoes they had provided me. I carefully saved some of the seeds from the ripe tomatoes, storing them away for next year's planting. I knew that I would grow red robin tomatoes again, relishing the process of nurturing these tiny plants from seed to fruit. And so, as the winter snow began to fall outside, I sat by the window, dreaming of the tiny red robin tomatoes that would once again grace my garden in the coming spring. I couldn't wait to start the process all over again, to watch as these tiny seeds grew into beautiful plants, bearing the most delicious tomatoes I had ever tasted. Growing tomatoes from home had become more than just a hobby for me. It had become a passion, a way to connect with nature and the earth in a way that I had never experienced before. And I knew that as long as I had a patch of soil and some seeds to plant, I would continue to grow these tiny red robin tomatoes, relishing in their cuteness and their delicious flavor.